Evening to everybody. This is Shamanpreet Kaur from Chinmaya Vidyalaya South Park. And today we are going to have a session on the topic making schools gender sensitive. So before I start the topic, let's see a riddle. Okay, so before we start the topic, we are going to see a riddle on the screen. We're going to read it and then you are going to write your responses in the chat box. I want everybody to kindly respond so that this can be a two-way communication where we both can talk. Okay, the riddle on the screen you can see is, father takes his son for a job interview, wishes him good luck. Just when they arrive at the parking, the son gets a call. The caller is the CEO of a trading company who says, good luck, my son, you have got this. The son ends the call and once again looks at the father who is still sitting beside him in the car. Now, how is that possible? Please write your responses in the chat box, everybody. How is it possible the father is just sitting beside the son, but then also the son got a response or a message from somebody saying, good luck, my son. So how is it possible? Yes, please write your responses in the chat box, everybody. Yes, I'm getting some answers. CEO is father. Okay. Father is taking interview. Okay. Okay. CEO is father. CEO is mother. Might be his father. Okay, so this same question that we have, that I have given right now, this same question was asked to many people as a part of a survey and even they gave certain answers. Let's first see what their answers were and then we will come to the answer. Can we play this video? Just 1 second. Yes.
As part of an experiment to explore the human mind, we asked 22 people to solve the same riddle and recorded their responses. Feel free to participate also. Are you ready?
The riddle. A father is about to bring his son to a job interview, applying for a position at a large stockbrokers company in the city. Just as they arrive at the company's parking lot, the son's phone rings. He looks at his father, who says, "Go ahead, answer it." The caller is the trading company CEO, who says, "Good luck, son, you've got this." The son ends the call and once again looks at his father, who is still next to him in their car. How is this possible?
He gets a call from the CEO, but it says,
good luck, son.
But he was next to him.
So it's not the father.
I think it was probably an audio recording of his father.
Maybe he made a demo tape.
Like he has two fathers?
This is a hot one.
Maybe it's a word joke, like it's the grandfather of the son.
No, I think his name is Son.
I don't know.
Maybe it's just like an old man, you know, calling a younger guy son.
I have no idea.
The answer. It's his mother.
Oh, that's so stupid. Yes, of course.
Ah!
I should have thought of that, yes.
The CEO is a woman.
So I'm biased. In a sense. Is this about diversity and inclusion?
It's really mind-blowing, actually.
So I always thought that I'm not very sexist. But in spite of that, I think these subconscious biases are there in everyone's mind.
How much bias I still have in terms of thinking that the CEO needs to be a man.
Yeah, I definitely was picturing a man.
They identify with males more than females these days.
Why can't women also be CEOs or doctors or, right?
When I think about a CEO or someone that's high positioned within a company, I mostly think of man.
And it's a shame, I think.
And that's so weird because I'm a CEO and I'm a woman.
But I want to be a CEO. Why didn't I think about that? Crap.
I believe women can absolutely be CEOs.
And that's definitely something that we should work on, especially when you're saying that so many people have been told this riddle and most people haven't gotten it.
Women make great CEOs and great leaders as well. And yet only 5% of Fortune 500 CEOs are women. Let's change our mindset.
Okay, so we just now saw this video where even before the video, when answers were coming, many of you said that the father is a CEO. Some also answered correctly and some said mother is the CEO. Though we think that we are free from gender bias, but somewhere subconscious bias is still existing in our mind, and therefore today we are going to have this session where we are going to understand many terminologies related to gender, and I hope that by the end of this session we will be able to make our classes and our school gender sensitive. So let's see the objective of today's session. Okay, so by the end of this session we will be clearly able to understand the difference between gender and sex. We will be able to develop gender literacy among ourselves, and when we learn it ourselves, we'll help the students to learn it as well. We will be able to bring a change in our teaching practices, keeping in mind gender issues in school or class. As teachers, we will understand our role in promoting gender equality. We will understand different terminologies related to gender, and by the end of this session, we will be able to use gender-friendly or gender-sensitive language in the class. Now let's move forward to the first slide. Now, so before we understand how to make our schools gender sensitive, what is our role in making the schools gender sensitive, what is the school's role, let's first understand what is gender. So everybody, please write your own definitions of what do you understand by the word gender. Yes, please write your responses of what do you understand by the word gender. Yes. Okay, it's the identification of a person, male and female, okay. Gender classification, gender is constructed by society, gender refers to a social group. It is a view created by the society, very good. Identification. Okay, so we have got ample number of responses. As you can see the definition on the screen, gender refers to the socially constructed role, behaviors, activities and attributes that a given society considers appropriate for men and women. So in simple words, if I say gender is actually the behavior and action that is expected from men and women. And therefore, gender assigns men and women some position within the family, the community, and the nation. So gender basically refers to how power is used and shared. I'll give you some examples of gender characteristics. For example, it is always expected from women that they should look after their household, and it is expected from men that they should look after the outside work. These are certain gender characteristics. So gender is that behavior and action which is expected from men and women by the society. It is not something with which a person is born. It is something which is given by the society. Now, what do you mean by the word sex? Now, sex refers to the biological and physiological characteristic that define men and women. Hence, sex is permanent and universal. To put it more clearly, we have to categories of sex, which is male and female, and we have 2 gender categories, which is masculine and feminine. Just now when I talked about gender, I got certain responses saying male and female. And that is why we need to understand that male and female are not gender categories. They are sex categories. Whereas masculine and feminine are considered to be the gender category. So what is sex? Sex is something which is biological. It is something with which we are born. It is permanent, it is universal, it cannot be changed. It is not something that is given to us by the society. It is not something which the society expects of us. It is something with which we are born, it is biological and it cannot be changed. So remember, gender is the role which the society expects from men and women, whereas sex is biological and it cannot be changed, whereas gender can be changed. In the next slide, let's see the difference between gender and sex. Now I've already said that sex is biological, whereas gender is cultural, because we learn it through society by staying around people, our family, our teachers. So it is cultural. Now sex is given by birth, whereas gender is learned through socialization. When we spend time with our peers, our family, our teachers, we learn our identification. We start assuming certain gender roles. Therefore, remember, because it is something with which we are born, sex cannot be changed, whereas gender can be changed. I've already discussed some examples of gender characteristics, that women are expected to take care of the household, men are expected to take care of the outside work. Now, another gender characteristic that we all have is that girls are very emotional, whereas boys are very tough. Whereas sex characteristics basically means that women can give birth to offsprings while men cannot. Now, this is a fact. This cannot be changed. Therefore, it is a sex characteristics where a gender characteristic can be changed. Okay. Now, moving to the next slide. Now, here I have put some comical strip where you can see that because it is a gender characteristics, because many people feel that girls love the color pink. So we can see that one girl is gifted a pink bow by his father, whereas we can see that she is more interested in experimental work. So these are certain gender characteristics which the society expects from men and women. They think that girls love pink more, boys love blue more. So we have to see that we have to get rid of such characteristics so that we can be free from any kind of gender bias. Now moving forward to the next slide. Now, some examples of gender characteristics. Women are expected to take care of the family or domestic duties. I have already said this. Men are expected to work and earn money for the family. Now, this is what the society expects from men and women. It is also assumed by the society that boys are better in maths than girls. Boys never cry. Girls are very emotional. Now, girls are better in doing household work, though we can see that today even men have started working with women in the houses. They're helping women. So this is a complete stereotype that women can only do household work and men are not good at it. Also, another gender characteristic is that we feel that boys are good in sports, whereas girls are not good in sports. So these are certain examples of gender characteristics. Moving forward to the next slide. Now, I have put some statements here on the screen. Now, you have to write for each statement that which of the statement you think is a gender statement that you think the society thinks, and which of the statement is a biological statement which you feel is a fact. So, for statement number 1, girls are gentle, boys are rough. What do you think it is? Is it a biological statement or is it a gender statement? For gender statement, please write G. For biological statement, please write S. Yes, statement number 1. Girls are gentle, boys are rough. What do you think? Is it a gender statement or is it a biological statement? Yes, G. I am seeing many answers as G. Very good. Yes, number 1 is a gender statement because it is what the society feels. Now, statement number 2. Women give birth to babies, men do not. Is it a gender statement or is it a biological statement? Statement number 2. Yes, please write S for biological and G for gender statement. Is it a gender statement or is it a biological statement? Yes, I can see the correct answer. Yes. Number 2 is a biological statement. It is a scientific truth and it cannot be changed. That only women can give birth to babies and men cannot. Now, statement number 3. When one thinks of an engineer, one hardly ever thinks of a woman. Yes. Is it a gender statement or is it a biological statement? Yes. Number 3 is also a gender statement, that when people think of engineer, the first image that comes in their mind is the image of a man and not the image of a woman. Now, statement number 4, doctors are men and nurses are women. Is it a gender statement? Yes, number 4 is again a gender statement. Very good. I can see that you all have clearly understood the difference between gender and sex, and therefore correct answers are coming in the chat box. Very good. Now, number 5, primary teachers should be women. Men are not good at taking care of children. Do you feel that? Is it a gender statement or is it a biological statement? Yes, it is a gender statement again. Men are good at taking care of children. Nowadays, you can see that both men and women, they are working outside also and at house also. Both are working together. So they are good at taking care of children. Now, girls need to reach home on time. Is it a biological statement? No. Again, number 6 is a gender statement. So I hope that the difference is clear, that gender is the role and behavior which a society expects from a particular person, whereas sex is something with which we are born. It is biological and it cannot be changed. So the difference is clear. Now moving forward. Now we are going to decode, or we are going to go across certain terminologies which are related to the word gender. Now, the first terminology is gender equality. We all have heard of this term. So, gender equality basically means giving equal opportunities and equal access to resources to both the genders, to men also and to women also. So, what is gender equality? When we give them equal opportunities, we give them equal treatment, we give them equal access to the resources. Now, that is gender equality. What can be the examples of gender equality? Equal pay for equal work, giving girls equal opportunities in education as the boys. These are certain examples of gender equality. Now, when we talk about the word gender equality, the antonym also comes in our mind, which is gender inequality, wherein equal opportunities are not given to both the genders. Can you write any example in the chat box of gender inequality? Any example of gender inequality which comes in your mind? Yes, no equal wages. What else? Any example of gender inequality? Uneven salary, yes. Pay gap, yes. House chores, bringing up children, only girls. Okay, yes. Then early marriage is also a very good example of gender inequality, right? Now coming to gender equity. Now we have to understand the difference between gender equality and equity. Now the word equity means the quality of being fair. Remember, when we are fair to both men and women, that will only lead to equality. So equity leads to equality. Now, equality basically means, as we can see this from the picture, we can understand this very clearly from the picture, that there are 3 types of people. One is a small boy, one is a young boy, and one is a person who is physically disabled. Now we have given them a proper bicycle. We have given them equal thing. We have given them bicycle. Now this is equality. We have given them all the things regardless of what their condition is. We are not seeing their condition. We are just giving them equality. We are giving them the equal things. Now what is equity? Equity means being fair. Is it fair for the small boy to ride such a bicycle, small bicycle? No. So equity means that according to the condition, we have to provide them certain things. For example, as you can see in the picture, that the small boy is given a small bicycle as per his height. The young boy was already fine with the normal bicycle, and the girl who was physically disabled, wheels are attached to her wheelchair so that all the three can go together. So gender equity is the process of being fair. So for being fair to both the genders, certain measures have to be taken. Because both the genders, they have different needs, so accordingly the differences have to be addressed so that this imbalance can be rectified. Okay, now coming to the next slide. Now the next terminology related to the word gender is gender discrimination. We all know discrimination, it means discriminating somebody because of their gender, and discrimination only leads to inequality. We all know the examples: female feticide, denial of education, early marriage, dowry. All these are examples of gender discrimination. Now, coming to another terminology, which is socialization. Now, the word socialization comes from the word society. So what do you mean by socialization? Now, it is a process through which boys and girls learn that how they are going to fit in a particular society as male and female. For example, a simple example is that if in a school a certain competition was conducted and the girl was the winner, so as a reward, the girl is given a makeup kit, whereas a boy is given a book. Now, how does the socialization happen? When the girl is given a makeup kit for her achievement, indirectly it reminds her that you have to take care of your beauty more. So she learned it through the society that society is giving more importance to beauty, and therefore I have to take care of it more than the other things. Whereas when a boy is given a book, it indirectly reminds him that he has to pay more attention to logical things rather than beauty and all. So socialization, through socialization, these boys and girls learn their role. So it has to be kept in mind that when children are small and they're learning certain things, we have to be very careful with what we are giving them or with what we are telling them. Okay, now coming to the next word, which is gender role. Now, what is a gender role? Now, gender role is a duty and activity which is considered suitable for a boy and a girl. Now, these activities and duties, they are learning from their family, from their teachers, through day-to-day interaction. I'll give you a simple example. Now, at home also, whenever some household work is required, we have to fill any water bottle. So we tell the girls, go and fill the water bottle. Somebody wants a glass of water, we tell the girls that go bring the glass of water. Whereas if any other duty is there, such as going outside and bringing something from the market, we tell the boys to do so. So this way, what is happening? They're learning their gender roles. Girls are subconsciously learning that our duty is more of doing household work, and boys are subconsciously learning that our duty is to look outside of the house. So this is how they are learning their gender roles. Now, gender roles, how do they learn gender roles? Now, this happens through the another word that we are going to come across, social construction. Now, what is social construction? It is a process through which a given community assigns, institutionalizes, and legitimizes gender roles. Now, what is social construction? Now, social construction is actually legitimizing these gender roles. It is confirming these gender roles. We will take simple examples as it happens at the school. In school, a certain program is going to happen, and we have a lot of work where the benches have to be lifted. Okay, so we call the boys that come, start lifting the heavy objects, take the things from here to there. Whereas if any decoration work is there, cleaning work is there, we engage more girls there. So this way, what we are doing, we are actually confirming, we are legitimizing the gender roles. Now, this is how through social construction, we are legitimizing their gender roles. So as teachers, we have to make sure that any work is there, we have to engage both the girls and the boys in the work equally. We don't have to assign work according to their gender. Even girls can lift heavy objects, even boys can do decoration. Okay. Now, other terminology related to the word gender is patriarchy. In simple words, I say patriarchy basically refers to male dominance, male supremacy, where the male member of family has all the power. He decides what has to be done, because of which women feel inferior and men think that they are more intellectual than women. Now, because of patriarchy, all the other things are happening. Now, it is because of patriarchy that objectification of women is happening. It is because of patriarchy that gender inequality is happening. So, patriarchy is actually the root of all the problems. As you can see in the picture, patriarchy leads to gender roles, it leads to abuse, objectification of women, unrealistic standards of beauty, rape culture, male-dominated industries. Even in the Bollywood, you can see that the actresses, they're paid less than the actors. Then it is because of patriarchy that gender stereotypes are happening. Now we will come across this gender stereotypes also, shaming language. So patriarchy is actually the root cause of all the problems. Now coming to the next slide. The next terminology is gender awareness. Now what is gender awareness? If we have understood that, okay, gender related challenges are there, women are facing problem, there are gender related issues, then we can say that we are now aware. This is gender awareness. Gender awareness basically means it is your ability to understand that gender related challenges are existing in the society. Now, gender sensitivity is related to gender awareness. Gender sensitivity is bringing this awareness into action. You have understood that gender related challenges are there. Now, when we start taking proper steps for correcting such behavior, for correcting gender inequality, that is gender sensitivity. And because students spend a lot of time in their school, therefore, teachers play a very important role in gender sensitive classrooms. For example, whenever we have to select leaders, we have to take both the genders into consideration, not only boys. Even in sports day, you can see that the first person to hold the flag and marching forward, we choose a male leader. Why not a female leader? Why can't a female leader have the flag? Why can't she walk in the front? So we have to see that both men and women, both boys and girls are chosen to be the leaders. Even when we are conducting any sort of activity, we have to make mixed groups without any kind of gender bias. Now, gender stereotypes. Now, what do you mean by gender stereotypes? Now, gender stereotype, the word stereotype itself means image, any image that is formed in the mind. Now, as children grow up, they constantly absorb messages that the society throws at them through family, school, friends, media, etc. And they try to mold themselves in those roles. Now, stereotype basically is the image. So when children grow up through their families, through friends, through teachers, they start learning many things. For example, when boys are small and we have to bring toys for them, we bring them trucks, guns, superheroes. But for girls, we are bringing dolls, cooking sets, right? So this way, it is somewhere manipulating the young minds that boys are somewhere tough, whereas girls are somewhere sensitive. They are delicate. Why can't girls also play with trucks and guns? Why can't boys also play with dolls? It is because of the way they are being born and brought up. They're absorbing messages. So when boys are given toys and rough and tough objects to play with, and girls are given dolls and cooking sets, they're learning that girls are delicate and boys are somewhere strong. Okay. Now, because of all these gender stereotypes, both men and women, they have to face a lot of challenges. Okay, because of the way they are born and brought up, because of what they're learning from the society, what they're hearing from the society, both men and women have to face a lot of challenges. Now let's see. In a number of children textbooks, for example, women are seen as cleaners, caregivers and nurses, and men are seen as doctors and leaders. So whenever in any book they have to give the picture of a cleaner or a caregiver or a nurse, they print the pictures of the women. But when they have to give or they have to show the pictures of doctors or leaders, they show the pictures of men. So teachers, when you come across such text, you have to see, you have to address these problems. You cannot ignore it and you have to discuss it in the class that not only girls can be caregivers and nurses, they can also be doctors and leaders, and even boys can be cleaners and caregivers. It is not only the responsibility of the girls to clean. Even men can do it, and even girls can also become doctors and leaders. Because if we don't confront such issues, we don't talk about it, now these issues will reinforce again the gender roles. Now, these images reinforce gender roles which are socially constructed in a way which makes girls feel that they cannot aspire for top professional position. When they see such pictures, even girls become very demotivated and they think that no, we cannot go for top professional positions. But now we can see that there are many women entrepreneurs who are at good positions. Can you write examples of some women entrepreneurs that you know? I'll give you example of one women entrepreneur, the founder of the brand Sugar, which is Vinita Singh. She is a woman entrepreneur. Can you write some examples of women entrepreneurs who are doing good in society, who can inspire girls that even they can aspire for top professional positions? Yes, any other example? I have given you one example, that is of Vinita Singh, the founder of Sugar. Okay, founder of Mama Earth. Yes, it is Ghazal Alag. Yes, any other example? We also know Kamala Harris, who is the Vice President of the US. Any other examples? Shehnaz Hussain, okay. Jubi Kochar, yes. Okay, then who doesn't know Sudha Murthy, the chairperson of Emphasis, right? Masaba, yes. Many examples are there. Namita Thapar, yes. Now, because of what girls are seeing around them, now when they try to go against these stereotypes, girls often face criticism when they tell in their house that they want to become engineers or doctors. Family says them that no, you don't go for such jobs. You will not be able to do it. So they have to face challenges. And because of this, even boys are facing challenges, not only girls. There are many boys who wants to become a writer, who wants to become dancers. But because society has somewhere associated dancing with women, reading with women, writing with women, that boys also feel a pressure on them. Even if they want to become, they want to go for the profession of dancing, they want to become makeup artists, or they want to become writers, they feel shy to do so. So we have to spread gender awareness in such a way in the class that boys and girls become expressive and they're not shy of talking or becoming of what they want to, irrespective of what gender they have. Okay. Now you can see certain pictures also. These are examples. Now before that, see this picture. An Evening with Sychus Family. This story has been taken from an elementary book, where you can see that the father has been shown as doing some office work, whereas the mother has been doing some sewing work. So we have to see that if certain examples come in the text, we have to confront it, we have to talk to the students, and we have to tell them that women don't only do household work, they can also do office work. We cannot ignore certain stories or certain texts. Now, even certain pictures you can see when they have to give pictures of any police, they give examples of policeman, not police women. And when they have to give example of any teacher, they give the example of female teachers. They don't give example of male teachers. So such doubts, certain pictures, if they come when we are teaching, we have to talk to the students. Now, some traditional gender stereotypes. You can see there that boys are considered to be aggressive, girls are not considered to be aggressive, they are considered to be delicate. Boys are considered to be independent, girls are considered to be dependent, and you can see many more. Girls are considered to be submissive, boys are considered to be dominant. Girls are considered to be passive, whereas boys are considered to be active. Right, so these are certain gender stereotypes. Girls are considered to be home-oriented, whereas boys are considered to be worldly. Right. It is said that boys don't speak more. They are considered to be not too talkative, whereas girls are considered to be talkative. So these are certain stereotypes which are related to both the genders, men and women. These are stereotypes. These are images that are formed in the minds of people, but it is not so. Even boys can be emotional. Even girls can be logical. Even sometimes girls can be aggressive, boys cannot be aggressive. Girls can also be independent. So we have to talk to the students that these are certain stereotypes and they should not fit in the gender roles of what society is expecting from them. They should grow in the way they want to be. They should have an individual identity. They should become what they want to be, irrespective of what the society is expecting of them or what gender they have. Now coming to the next slide. Now, if we promote gender equality in the class, what is the benefit of it? As I've already said, if we also start promoting gender equality in the class, we are engaging the students together. We are telling the boys also that no, you can also become writers, you can also become dancers. There is no problem in it. So this will help them to open up with us. They will be able to express their emotions. They will become more expressive. So for that, it is very important that when any activity is happening at home or in school, for example, cooking or gardening, we have to engage both boys and girls. Now, even to the girls, we have to expose role models of women in business, especially those outside the stereotype like doctors, scientists, and leaders. Mostly girls do not want to go for the position of doctors, scientists, and leaders. So for that, what can we do? What can we do? We can make a list of females who are in business, who are scientists, who are doctors. We can stick those pictures in the class so that even girls can see it, they can be motivated, and even they can aspire for other professions also. And because these role models will help the girls to see themselves in professions outside the normal stereotypes. Yes, girls are becoming teachers, they are becoming things which are considered normal for them, but they can go out of the box. And for that, teachers have to motivate them. Now, what is the environment of a gender sensitive school? Now, very important point number one. In a gender-sensitive school, girls are empowered to express themselves freely and confidently within and outside the school. So in a gender-sensitive school, girls are given the opportunity to speak up, because of which they become confident in the school also and outside the school also. Now, in a gender-sensitive school, the school community has a good level of awareness towards gender issues. So a school which is gender sensitive, it has a very good level of awareness. It knows that there are gender related issues and it is dealing with it in a proper way. Now, in a gender sensitive school, the educators apply gender equality principles in the academic process. So if there is a gender sensitive school like we all have, we all will try to apply gender equality principles, that we will engage everybody in all the activities irrespective of what their gender is. Even small things that are happening in school is making a certain image in their mind, as I've already said. Engage girls also in lifting heavy objects. Take boys in decoration. Even girls should be encouraged to go for sports. So small things are very important in this school. Now, both girls and boys should equally participate in outdoor and indoor activities in a gender-sensitive school. Very important, a gender-sensitive school has a mechanism as a policy to address any kind of violence which is going to be perpetrated by the teachers and the students. If something happens in the school, a girl hits a boy hits a school, the school should have a proper policy on how the school is going to deal with this issue. Okay, now in a gender sensitive school, we can see that they encourage the girls to bring out their full academic potential. The school addresses the issue of needy girls through provision of scholarships. Now in a gender sensitive school, gender sensitive facilities are there, separate toilets are there for boys and girls. Separate water rooms are there, sanitation is proper. Now, guidance and counseling services is available for both the boys and girls. And at last, in a gender-sensitive school, educators are trained so that they can use gender-sensitive teaching and they can use gender-sensitive language. That is what we are learning today in the session. That when we speak something in the class or when we are doing something in the class, it has to be absolutely gender-sensitive. Now, let's see a video. Let's see a video.
Ma, can you please tie my shoelaces?
Sama? Sama?
Yes, Ma. I'm ready. Let's go, Ved. Bus is here. Ma is pressurized with all household work. And I wonder why Papa doesn't help in the household work. I know Papa goes to office, but Ma cleans the house, prepares food for everyone and then goes to office as well. Maybe I should talk to Isha ma'am about it.
Thank you, students. Today's class is over. If you have any questions, please come to me.
Ma'am, my mother helps me and my brother get ready for school. She also prepares food for all of us and then goes to office. I do not like seeing my mother so exhausted every evening. Why does she work alone? Why does not my father help her? Can only females do the household work?
Sama, I'm very happy that you noticed this and are discussing it with me. It is not true that only females can do all the household work. A person's sex and gender has nothing to do with their roles and responsibilities. Everyone should contribute and work together to run a household.
Okay, ma'am, but what do we mean by sex and gender?
Sama, sex is biological and is based on the body parts we are born with.
Okay, ma'am, but what is gender?
Gender is how the society expects us to behave according to our biological sex. So, for example, it is a common belief that women are expected to do all the household work.
Ma'am, this is exactly what is happening in my house and I think this is wrong.
Exactly, Sama. This is very unfair and it is important for us to challenge these things which are called stereotypes. You might know that most chefs in the world are men and they have broken the gender stereotype that only women can cook. Also, Mary Kom, who is a boxer, has shown that women can also fight and are equally strong. These examples which you can keep in mind and share with your friends and family.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I will discuss this with my parents and question these stereotypes whenever I see them happen around me.
Padma, is dinner ready? I was wondering if you could also make some food for all of us so that we are not hungry in the train.
Okay. Exactly, Sama. This is very unfair and it is important for us to challenge these things which are called stereotypes.
Ved! Ved!
Yes, Didi. Coming.
Papa, can I ask you something?
Of course, Sama. Please tell me.
Why do you not help Ma in doing the housework?
I work in the office all day and when I come back, I'm tired, so I like to watch TV and relax.
Even Ma goes to office, but still she comes back home and cooks, cleans the house and does all the household work.
Sama, who told you these things? All mothers cook and do the household work in every house. It is very common in our society, so there is nothing wrong.
No, Papa, this is wrong. My teacher also told me about these beliefs, which make one gender more powerful than the other in certain situations. It is not the duty of Ma to cook food for all of us. Ma'am told me that we should all work together and help each other out.
Okay, Sama. I understand what your teacher is saying. And she's right. I realize my mistake. I will help Ma in preparing food and packing our bags for our Shimla trip tomorrow. Thank you, beta, for pointing out.
Okay. So after seeing this video, we all can see that the daughter was very concerned that only her mother is doing the work. She is also going to office, but then after coming back, she is doing all the work. The father is also going to the office, but after coming back, he is relaxing. She goes and she talks to the teacher. The teacher explains that yes, cooking and doing household work is not a gender related duty. It is a life skill and it is not a gender skill that only one particular gender is going to do. She comes back, she talks to the father, and the father finally realizes that it is the responsibility of both the mother and the father to look after the house and not solely the responsibility of the mother, right? So I hope that you like this video. Now coming forward to the next important slide, which is role of a teacher in addressing gender issues in school. Very, very important. Now, point number one, whenever we are teaching, and in several books, we see that girls are depicted as witches, cowards, or a silly person, or a fairy, and such content comes with us. Do not ignore such content. That, oh, a student is not noticing, let it be, we will ignore. No, this gives a very wrong message. If any such content comes where a girl is not depicted properly, she has been shown, examples are given of brave and coward. In the brave side, a boy's photo is shown, and on the coward side, a girl's photo is shown. And such contents come in the book, so we should not ignore it. We should handle it very nicely so that no negative message goes to the children. Now, I feel that you all might be knowing that just a few days back, the Education Minister of Kerala, he has posted one picture of one of the books of that is being used in one Kerala school, where he has shown that the father is grating the coconut and the mother is doing some cooking. The brother is also there. He is also in the kitchen, and the sister is also there. She is also doing something in the kitchen. He has posted it on his Instagram channel. You can check this image on V. Sivan Kutti's Instagram. He is the Education Minister of Kerala, and he has posted the picture where it is shown that both the father and the mother, they are doing the kitchen duty. So we can see that slowly changes are coming. They are changing the pictures, whereas when earlier pictures were shown, only women were shown in the kitchen. But we can see that Kerala has taken one initiative and they have launched certain books where both men and women are shown that they both are doing some work in the kitchen. So you can check the Instagram channel of Vivan Kutti. He is the Education Minister of Kerala. He has posted the picture on 1st of June. Right. So now if any picture comes, effective pictures and illustrations should be shown to the children that portray that a woman is not merely a mother, she can do anything she wants to be. Yes, if in the book, whenever any example is coming of doctor and pilot and only male examples are given, you give your own examples. Make a list, you have to do some hard work, make a list of female doctors, make a list of female pilots and show the children if it is not given in them. Because what they see is what they learn. So if examples are only given of male doctors, male pilots, male politicians, make your own list and show it to the students. Stick the pictures in the classroom so that they can see it daily. Now, the teacher should guide through visual aids such as through movies or videos depicting women working in the fields, working on heavy machines, side by side with men, handling patients in the hospitals and handling dangerous equipment. So through videos also, teachers can show the class that women can also work in the field. They can also work on heavy machines. They can also handle patients. They can also deal with dangerous equipments. You can show them some examples from the movies. Can you name some movies where women are shown doing any tough duty? Please give me some examples of movies where you can see that women are working in the fields, they are working on some heavy machines, they're doing something extraordinary. Yes, male nurses are there. I can read the message. Yes. So can you give me any example of any movies? Please write your responses in the chat box. Mangal Mission movie, yes. What else? Very good. Nirja, yes. Fighter movie also. Mission Mangal, yes. Mardani, okay. Nirja, very good. Gunjan Saxena, Mary Com. Dangal, yes. Dangal, Tejas. Very good. Very nice. Next point. The teacher should on occasion invite writers, artists, musicians, and other talented females as well as male personalities to talk to the students. So, on certain occasions, teachers should invite writers, male writers also, female writers also, male and female musicians, both to talk to the students. The teacher should counter the prejudices that may reflect in the lines of the textbooks. I'll show you. In the picture that is there on the left side, you can see the second line. It is written, some things are made by man. So when such lines come in the book, you have to tell them that actually the word should be human and not man, by man. Some things are made by man. So you don't ignore such words if it is coming, not just one man. You have to say not just one human. It may take many people to produce even a small thing. Okay, so when such lines come in the textbook, you have to counter such prejudices and address those in the class. Even you can see the picture that they have given the example, strong, stronger, and strongest. I get that is only the example from an English book. So strong, stronger, strongest, but they have given examples of boys. Why not girls? Okay. So that is why when such pictures come, you have to talk. The next example that they have given is ugly, uglier, and ugliest, which is very wrong. So wrong message is going, what is ugly, what is uglier, what is ugliest? When such pictures comes in the, when you are teaching, kindly address, kindly talk to the students. Okay. Next, usage of gender sensitive language, very important. Now there are many words such as police, man, fireman. Use the word as firefighter. Instead of using the word mankind, use the word as humankind. Right. So we have to see that whenever such words are coming, we have to see that we are replacing the last word man and we are using the gender neutral words. Okay. I have given the picture also on the right hand side. You can go through the picture. Now, instead of using the term like you guys, please don't use the word you guys because guys mostly refer to boys only. Use gender neutral words like everyone, everybody. Okay. Now don't use masculine pronouns such as he, his, him generically. Now it happens with us also. We say that the pilot was the pilot was flying his plane. How do you know that the pilot is a male or a female, that you are using the pronoun as his? Actually, it has, what has happened is we have started bringing it in our practice and we are using it very generically. इतना generalize कर दिया हम लोगों ने इसको कि हम लोग pilot के साथ, doctor के साथ his ही लगा रहे हैं. The pilot was flying his plane. Why not her plane? Right. So we don't have to generically use these words his, him with these professions. Stop using the word girl in the class. You girl. Do we say you boy? So why you girl? Please read. They have their own names. Refer to both the boys and girls with their name. Okay. Now I've given one example. You can see at the end of the slide. The chemist work with compounds that will enable her to. How do you know that the chemist is only girl and why can't it be a boy? Why her is used? Right. The dentist prepares his equipment. How do we know that dentist is a male? Why his is used? Why not her? So we have to be very, very aware and we have to be very, very alert of what kind of language we are using in the class. So if you want to delete the word he, his or him in the class, how will you say? See the first example. The student should complete the assignment, but he should not make test papers into paper planes. So instead of using the word he, you can delete the word he and directly you can write the answer. You can see I've written in the bold letter. The student should complete the assignment but should not make test papers into paper planes. So I've deleted the word he. Okay. Now, if a student misses, now next strategy that you can apply is substitute you, your, yours when you are addressing your reader directly. Okay. Now, instead of using he, you can use the word you or your. If a student misses 2 appointments, he will lose his standing appointment. Now, instead of using he, this is wrong. What can we say? If you miss 2 appointments, you will lose. So instead of using words such as he, is, him, you can either delete it or you can use pronouns such as you, your, and yours. So gender sensitive language has to be used in the class, right? Now, instead of saying, now this is how we are not using gender sensitive language in the class. Sometimes we say, Arey, why are you crying like a girl? Why are you saying a girl? Only girls cry, boys cannot cry. Simple gender sensitive language means you have to be very alert of what you are saying. You can simply say, don't cry. Don't be talkative like a girl. You people have become girls. You are talking a lot these days. No, this is very wrong. Don't talk. Don't walk like a girl. What is this? So we can simply say, don't walk. Don't walk like this. Walk properly. Don't be sensitive. Huh? You are a boy. You should not be sensitive. You should not cry. Only girls cry. So such language is reinforcing a kind of gender role in their mind. It is creating a gender stereotype. We have to be very, very alert of what we are saying in front of the students. Now, gender sensitive lesson planning, very important. Whenever you are planning your lesson plan, you have to take into consideration the specific needs and boys or girls in your, for example, first thing that teaching and learning materials that you are using, they have to be gender sensitive. If you are teaching SST and in the history book, only examples of male freedom fighters are given, please make a list of your own female freedom fighters and show them Lakshmi Bai, Rani Lakshmi Bai. Say them that not only men fought for freedom, even women have the contribution in the Indian freedom. If in the science book only list of scientists, male scientists is given, please give them examples of female scientists, female inventors as well. Whenever you are, second is teaching methods. Whenever you are organizing any GD role play, that is group discussion, role play, debate in the class, please ensure that the participation of both boys and girls is equal. Mostly we see that whenever activities such as debate is happening or case study is happening, debate mostly boys don't come up. So you have to see that both boys and girls are participating equally. Any project, anything that you are giving, the leadership position has to be given to both the boys and girls. It's not that we are doing some activity, we are doing some project, we are only making boys the leaders or we are only making girls the leaders. No, both should be given equal leadership position. Okay. Now, classroom interaction in the class, I've already said, stop using words like he, his, him, her, girl, you, boy. We have to address them with their name. We have to stop using these pronouns generically with certain terms. Okay. After you teach, take the feedback from both of them, make them feel that they are important in the teaching learning process, because it is for them that we are teaching. So taking feedback from both boys and girls is very, very important. Okay. And the last is management of gender constraints to learning. Now, if in your school, some girl is absent from a long period of time, it will only take a minute. Give a call, ask what is happening. Is the father not allowing her to come to school? Or if the girl has faced some bullying or harassment in the school, or if some boy has faced some bullying or harassment in the school. So we have to go just beyond some classroom teaching. We have to talk to the students to know that what is happening. It sometimes happens a boy is very sensitive in the class. A boy loves dancing or loves drawing. So other boys start teasing him. So the boy starts becoming absent. Right. So if certain things happen, we have to talk to the other boys that no, loving dance is no crime. We should not make fun of others. If a girl is coming in school in bob cut hair or short hair, other girls are making fun of her. Oh, you're looking like a boy. You should have long hair. So the girl starts being absent to school. She doesn't want to come to school. So if certain problems are coming, we have to deal with it in a very wise manner, so that The one who is doing it also learns a lesson, and the other person with whom it is happening also learns. So what is the school management's role in establishing a gender sensitive school? The school has to arrange proper training sessions for teachers on gender sensitivity. The school has to provide proper facilities like separate washrooms, water and sanitation. The school has to sensitize the community about the importance of girl education. For example, the school can organize some seminars where the parents are invited and they are told that no, you have to educate your girls also, right? And we have already talked about lesson planning. So teaching learning materials, the teachers have to see that they are gender sensitive. We have to monitor what is happening in the school and to provide necessary human resources for management and governance of the school. If all this has to be happen, of course, human resources needed. So the school's duty is also to provide human resources for management and governance of the school. Now, the last thing, do's and don'ts for making your classroom gender sensitive. In the primary classes, we should not segregate the boys and girls in separate rows. We should let them sit together. In the class, we should appoint 2 monitors, 1 boy and 1 girl. Whenever games is happening, group activity is happening, we should make mixed group. Even in the class, if any girl is very shy to give answer, if any boy is shy to give the answer, point out and tell them that no, even you have to give answer. Okay, we have to encourage both the boys and the girls to speak on important topics. Sometimes if any drama is happening, switch the roles. Why does it always happen that if any drama is happening, a boy is given the role of a boy only and the girl is given the role of a girl only? Sometimes we can switch the roles as well, right? Even a girl can be given the role of a boy and the boy can be given the role of a girl. So we have to learn to switch roles. If any activity is happening such as cleaning or decoration, we have to involve both the boys and girls in that. We have to see that in the class students are not making offensive remarks like calling a girl tomboy because she is very active, very playful. So teachers have to see that such remarks are not made. Even for the boy, some boy is very delicate. So the girl says, "Arey, you are a boy, arey, you are a girl, arey, you are a girl." So we have to see that certain offensive remarks are not made by the boys and the girls of the school. Okay, now next, any leadership decision has to be taken. We have to involve both the boys and the girls. And again, I have said that plan and conduct activities that give opportunity to all children, accepting one another as equals. If they learn to be together, if they participate in activities together, they will learn that no, we are equal and we have to do all the work equally. Now, with this, I come to the end of the session. I hope that the session was a very fruitful one and you have learned certain terminologies, how you are going to make your class gender sensitive. And I hope after this session, definitely you're going to make a difference in your class. With this, I come to the end of this session. Thank you and Hari Om. And remember, there are no rules on how to be you. Don't let the society change who you are. Let the children become what they want to be, irrespective of what gender they are, because we all are unique and we all are valid. Thank you, everybody. I hope this session was a fruitful one. Thank you and Hari Om. Thank you.